Ready for it?
What is it now?
I got a splinter in my finger.
It's tiny. Ridiculous. You never had a father. Look, just hold still. Look, there we are. There we are. There. There we are. What?
Salute Romani. Nos multissime. No, speak this to him.
What's happening?
He's trying to speak Latin.
No, fellow, it's all right. You see, we speak British.
Charm.
I am Badvoc, leader of the Trinavantes. We are here to welcome you to Chelmsford. Hello.
There you go. Boys and girls, lads and lassies, welcome to Chelmsford 123. Yes, one of my
Indeed. Welcome to Chelmsford.
Welcome to Chelmsford. So, guys, how did you enjoy this show? As you can imagine, I love it. Chelmsford 123. And Kelly, if you like plebs, you'll love this. Completely different because it's set in Britain, not set in Rome like them. But
Yeah.
it is fun. And it is what 1986? 1988, 1992 seasons. And it's done in Latin at the very beginning. They speak in Latin, and then the episodes, it's Primus Partus, Fini Primus Partus, and stuff like that. So they basically end of part 1 is in Latin, part 2 is in Latin, and season 1 and 2 is in Latin. It's done very well. Considering when it was made, it's very intelligent, silly comedy. It was smartly done, I must admit. It is one of my favourites. So, guys, what was your first thought when you saw this? Even
Alex, you want to go first, or should I add my thoughts? Because I think mine is comprehensive.
I think it's up there with Blackadder. I'm surprised the BBC never tackled this type of subject for Blackadder. But overall, it did touch some parts. That is what you call typical of Channel 4 comedy. That wouldn't get shown on the BBC, really. And all I can say, the way the
Trinavantes,
they're portraying themselves as Essex boys in a way.
Yes,
typical Essex boys. So really, it's more closer home for me because where I live, and I don't know. You just got to spot some great moments in it. You got to also spot the little tiny bits, but you'll be laughing non-stop. That's all I can say.
Yes, it is definitely something all the way through. There's silly bits.
Yeah.
There's quite intelligent comedy as well because it's done in such a way it comes right out the blue. You don't see the comic aspects of it. You've got Blag, who has moments where he says things like, you can do that and do this, but you still can't through your directory inquiries. Oh, I've had one of my headaches again. And he always says something silly. And things like, I've had a thought. What happens if you get this tube and fill it with water and heat it up and it sends water down, the steam down to a piston to set it off? And they're going, really? Horseless carts? silly, and he's just it's just a thought. The characters in it are just superb, and I'm just trying to find the one when you said you were a Essex boy. This is one of my favourites because I liked 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, and this always made me smile because of it. Because Romford.
Up and down the homes.
I think they'd pay us.
I'll call in Functio. He's a level-headed fellow. If ever you want a calm and rational opinion about anything at all, Functio's your man. Functio! Now, Romford.
I've never been there. Who told you it's a lie? I'm a happily married man. Don't mention Romford to anyone, please, Aulus, I beg you. Never mention Romford, not Romford. It's an awful place.
There, Functio, it's all right. In fact, we're thinking of pulling it down.
Oh, good. Not Romford. You mustn't pull it down. Oh, my God. Lovely, lovely Romford. Oh, my dear old Romford. Oh, Romford.
And can I just
That
say
always
something?
reminds me of Chelmsford one.
Yeah.
2 pints of lager because
Can I
Romford.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
They built the Romford bypass and he's still there today.
No, they built the Romford pass by,
Yeah.
so they did.
Yeah, but we're just calling it the bypass now.
Yeah. But it's just the cleverness of the way they do it.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when the program starts, it is a new Roman governor being sent to Britain to oversee it, and he doesn't want to go. And when he gets there, he just hates it. But the good thing is, this program starts; they're all speaking in Latin.
Yeah.
Subtitles, obviously, so you know what they're getting, so you can get the jokes. And then it's a case of they had to pick up Britain. This one, made before Allo, had a Roman centurion who was learning British, and he would say the words along. Like, for instance, you have to obey the lav. The lav is all important, and if you step outside the lav, you'll be in trouble. And he says, don't worry, anything we do, we'll do inside the lav. And it's stuff like that. So it's basically something like Allo's got and done it a bit better, but it started there. Somebody did that with somebody learning the language and getting it parts of it wrong.
You're just slightly wrong, but just wrong enough that you understand that.
Yeah,
it's
like when he
not the-
said he's come into
I
it,
am
he
the
said-
law.
Yeah.
It
When
is
you-
the law.
Yeah, when you hear him coming in, he goes, cheerio, cheerio, we're here. Then as he's going away, he says, hello.
Yeah.
He's walking out. It's silly things like that, and it's just so well done. But there's so many of this, so much of this. The fact that you've got Grasientus, Philip, who wrote the music for it, and he plays the Weasley Grasientus so well. He's just hilariously funny. Then you've obviously got Jimmy Mulville and Rory McGrath, who wrote it, didn't they?
Yeah, because they formed the production company, Hattrick Productions.
Yeah. So they wrote it and they starred in it, and they did it so well that even silly things like the intro where they're standing there with all their finery and things are falling and stuff like that. It even gives you a chuckle right at the beginning.
Especially the cameo from the Doctor Who cameo.
Yes, right. That's the very first episode.
Yeah.
He just comes out, goes like that. It's raining. He's back in a TARDIS and bugs off.
Yeah.
Tom Baker, you notice the scarf.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually Tom Baker.
It's not, obviously not. If it was,
no, but it was meant to be the reference to it.
If that was Tom Baker playing a cameo, you would have seen a close up.
Oh yes.
You wouldn't have just been in the background going like that and walking away. If they could get Tom Baker in to do that wee cameo, you would have seen it. Would have happened right next to him. You would have seen his face just even if it was for a second or two.
Are you really though? After all that, are you really that sure? Because if you have that ego, I mean, I've seen plenty of stuff William Shatner's been in, and we know this guy has an ego that the size of Jupiter. But he's been in background stuff of a lot of projects, not even claiming credits, and even insisting that IMDb doesn't even list that he was on that thing.
Oh, some of them will do it is because they love the franchise, so they want to be in it. Because you've had who was it who played a stormtrooper? Was it Jason Statham? He wanted to be in
It
Star
was
Wars.
Craig Bondi.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig played a stormtrooper because he wanted to be in it, but it was just as let me in, and it doesn't matter if my face is shown. I just want to say I've been in Star Wars.
Well, you could recognise the voice, really.
But I don't even think he speaks or anything. Yeah, he might actually have like 3 words or something. But for me, the most iconic stormtrooper is the guy that smacks his head on the shutter door. That is, I don't know who it is, don't recall his name, but for me, that's a stormtrooper, because if you're wearing that much armor, you don't see where you're going.
I didn't open it up far enough.
Aye. Darren is saying the Celtics were speaking Bryonic, but the good thing is they didn't say they were speaking English, they were speaking British, Britannic, because that was a good thing. They never called them English. They were Britons.
And I think that's more a modern translation for the balance between when it was being broadcast on air and.
Yes. But what I'm saying is a lot of programs will, even with that, they'll still call them the English and the Scottish. Whereas that they didn't. They called them the British and the Caledonians. So it was nice retouch even back then. They didn't actually. They still says the country was split because you had the Caledonians up north and you had but it was a case of they didn't call them the Scottish and English. They called them the Caledonians and the British, which I thought was a nice retouch because.
It adds charm, and it also adds more of the whole thing that what the crap is a Caledonian? If you watch this today, you would go Google what's a Caledonian.
Yeah, but do you know the only thing they didn't do that with was Wolfbane, because they would say things like, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, it's beat up a Welsh git." So they would always call him Welsh, which considering they had the Caledonians and Britons, they called him Welsh. So it was stuff like that. So obviously it takes it out because you obviously know where is it. So they didn't obviously know what to call Wales because it wasn't separated from Britain. It was nice functions, but there was 1 or 2 bits they couldn't do because what would they have called Wolfbane if they couldn't call him Welsh, so you understood what it was about. But the whole program, there's so many catchy bits in it. Do you want to see my favourite all-time bit in it? This is my favourite, and it is only a 30-second scene, but it is one every time I see it, it cracks me up. Right? And once you see it, you'll understand why it cracks me up.
Boy, listen. Dumping me in a barrel of shit doesn't bother me, you know. I'm thinking Ipswich on market day. You gotta watch out. My friend Aulus Paulinus, the governor, be after you pretty sharpish. He's probably got his generals together now. He's probably scouring the countryside at this very moment. Bit more salt, I think.
It just shows how much Rory McGrath had to suffer.
No, but
no. Not only how much he had to suffer, it's the fact that that is the delivery method of bringing some human forward.
Yeah,
he's trying to be all that, and then there is just someone walking by. It's Search for Holy Grail, Monty Python. When they come across the peasant, it's like, oh yeah, who's the elected lord then? Well, did we vote for him?
No.
Did it is that level of humor, but it would pardon for the motorcycle people running across the road, but it is what I found about this, and I only had time to dip into a couple of the episodes, so I kind of know most of the first couple of seasons, a little bit of a refresher, but I have definitely seen this TV show a long time before. But this is core of British humor.
Yeah, I was aware it was a 2-season thing, so that's why I said we would only maybe concentrate. I've seen this one. I reckon I'll watch Chelmsford 1, 2, 3 maybe every 3 or 4 months. It's one of my favourite. That and Chance the Million are the two ones I could just constantly rewatch, and I do.
Yeah.
So I rewatched it again yesterday.
And another thing is, it is a timeless classic, but it's a great shame that it cannot get repeated.
I will have to add a counterpoint to you, Alex. It's not that it's a timeless classic. This is the core of British humor, where it really comes from. If you look at all the funny stuff they're trying to play through here in Chelmsford 1, 2, 3, and you put it out to Benny Hill, Monty Python, John Cleese, all of these comedians that came out there, they understood that humor. It was the core. And they lifted that humor just a little bit more refined to one or different angles, which is why you can tell Benny Hill and John Cleese apart. But even it was the same core from this.
They had the core, but remember how nowadays they say things like, oh, it was all very misogynist and sexist, which I would deny, just for the simple fact is you had scenes like this.
Thinking this might be a critical drinker one.
No.
Yeah, Mungo, you brought Blag out without his muzzle on again.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Badvoc. I just fed him. Well, I had to take him out for a walk. That's what to do his.
Yeah, all right.
I think we've found a hideous blob. I've got a message from Gargamadua.
Oh, yeah, what?
Told me to tell you you're an insensitive, loathsome, stinking bastard. No, that comes somewhere later, somewhere between useless and worm shagging.
Yeah, I think I get the general idea.
Look, I'm not interested in your petty squabbles. I'm talking about some avenging Hartley out there that's not...
Badvoc! You're an insensitive, loathsome, stinking...
Useless bastard. Worm shagger.
Very funny. Look at you all, pathetic. Call yourselves men? Ha! I suppose you think it's clever to get stupidly drunk and be totally embarrassing. Well, Badvoc, you've thrown up in my fireplace once too often. One day something really dreadful is going to happen to you, and when it does, don't expect me to be there to hold your hand. I despise the lot of you. The whole lot of you put together wouldn't be a match for one woman.
In effect, you know, I mean, that was the one scene, and basically all the guys were that size. The 5 of you wouldn't be a match for one woman, 6 of them.
But look at the delivery as well.
Exactly.
It's the delivery part. She's smacking him down. It's like, okay, come on, you can do better.
And you can see them all just sort of standing there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just in Gargamadua, which she was only in the first season.
I know.
Disappeared from the second season. Same as Lucio, he disappeared as well. The Roman governor. He wasn't a town mayor or whatever, but that was the one with the tash, Baldy. He disappeared as well. See,
I have to jump in quickly because Kellynch is asking where's Biggest Dickus, and unfortunately, Biggest Dickus is not part of Chelmsford whatsoever.
No,
he should have been.
According to Blag, they're all called Marcus. Because they're all called Marcus. So, and that's. But you want to see the best Roman in the whole episode. The good thing is, I've got all these on my channel, so these are from my channel, so they've already been uploaded and they're okay. So it should be okay. So the best Roman, one of the funniest Romans in this was this
I would
guy.
just have to give a giggle to Darren's Zone because apparently Biggest Dickus is in
He's in
Rome.
Rome. He's in Rome.
So, you're my head of security. What's been going on in my absence?
Last week, I had some of the neighbours round to my place for a few drinks.
Is that all?
No, I had a cheese dip as well. It was
Did Badvoc get up to anything whilst I was away?
Oh, no. I had him followed. I followed him personally, actually, and he didn't notice a thing. I was cleverly disguised.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
As a Cornish prostitute.
Cornish prostitute?
Yes, I've always rather fancied that I was pretty good with accents. Ooh-er. Give us a bite of your pasty, big boy. Ooh-er.
And did you find anything out?
Yes, that Mungo's rather an adventurous lover.
What about Badvoc?
No, he just wanted to talk.
Did he do anything illegal?
Oh, yes, he broke into your office and snooped around.
For how long?
About a fortnight.
He snooped around my office for a fortnight?
Well, not continuously, obviously. He went on a fishing trip to Mersey Island for 3 days. And a very enjoyable 3 days they were.
Oh, I am glad, yeah. Did he get hold of any top secret documents?
No, it was mainly mackerel and sprat. I might say, I think that 4 weeks away has done you the world of good, sir. You're marvellous.
That just goes.
I'm struggling to formulate it, but this is literally the kind of comedy humor.
Yeah.
That when I was growing up, literally in the wilderness, in the bush, I was like, I want to go over and see what England really is like, because there is so many funny things. And I'm now finding myself after almost 20 years in the United Kingdom. I'm trapped. Do I like the Wales? Do I like the Scottish? Do I like the English? Do I like the Irish? I literally cannot decide between who is best. If I go to rugby, like Premier Final Championship at Twickenham, I cannot pick a side. I just go out there, couple of Guinness, and but Guinness might give it away that it might be Irish supporting, but it might be that England and Wales are playing, and it's how do I choose? Because there is so many gorgeous things, there is so many beautiful things, there's so many funny things from each corner of this island. And I will say that clip that was just shown reminds me so much of why I decided it's not that I think where I came from is bad. It's just I wanted to see this front and center. And I've been so fortunate to go to the Comedy Store, all these stand-up places. I've seen everybody from Eddie Izzard to visiting comedians from Canada to Australia, even New Zealand, to come in. And I've been sitting in an intimate room where there's like 150 people, privileged enough to watch them do their routine. And this is the kind of humor that made me think, okay, I understand Monty Python. I understand Fawlty Towers and all that came before. But this is the kind of thing that glued it together. And one of the episodes I've described to you guys that I really love and I grew up with is The Plank with, was it Eric Sykes and
Tommy Cooper.
And
yeah.
And it had the goons in it, Harry Seacombe.
Exactly. It's that humor that made me more curious than anything. And I'm thinking, I would like to visit. It wasn't the plan that, oh, hey, I suddenly found myself a career for 20 years running. That happened by accident, but I came over because I was curious. I want to see this firsthand. Are you really this cheeky? And well, yes, you are.
Well, it is. It's just self-deprecating. But Kelly says she'll have to leave shortly. She needs to watch it. Is this show on BritBox?
Yes.
There you go, Kelly. It's on
Amazon.
BritBox, and I know Darren was looking for. Roman was looking for some ideas on what to watch in BritBox, and I suggested this as well. So I wasn't entirely sure if it was on, but I told him to give it a go. But it's on BritBox, so if you can get hold of that.
Also, you can find it on the Channel 4 site because it's still on there.
Is it on there? Great stuff. And when you're talking about self-deprecating, have you seen this one?
The man who would succeed Badvoc as tribal leader is even more anti-Roman than Badvoc. He is fervently committed to getting all Romans off British soil. Aren't we all? His sword drips with the blood of 1,000 Romans.
Well, he wants to get a bit of rag or something. That should do it.
Well, you may laugh, Aulus. Suffice it to say that this man's nickname is the Hammer of the Romans.
And his real name?
Cecil.
Cecil, isn't that something like a name was something that actually a blacksmith was using? I think I remember the connection, and that Cecil is something that it is a tool in a blacksmith workshop.
I don't know, but in the time of this, it was basically the time this was filmed. Cecil was seen as one of those weak names. What we would call a geeky name. Yeah, I mean, so.
Well, you mean like Jim the Viking?
Well, no, see, nowadays, that normalise it because everybody's a geek somewhere or other. Even across the board. But then it was a case of Cecil. Cecil was the one that had the powerful wife who was constantly beating him, and he was like that. He was a wee weak. So that's why that joke is more funny, because when we were growing up and that was being filmed, Cecil was seen as a weak person's name. Obviously, you had things like Cecil Parkinson. You had some very, not so much powerful, but very well-known people called Cecil. But it was still.
I think I'm with you on the path you're going down. I always thought that Jim, like that sounds like a proper English name.
No,
not obviously being English, but where I'm going with this is, if someone turned up to me when I was bullied back in '86 and said, "Hey, I'm PJ," I would just be honest, like, "Oh, this is like Kevin Bacon and that kind of cast, Kevin Ward, it's Ellen Ripley. It's that kind of cool." But today, it's
the coolest name out there.
Yeah, it is. Today, Jim Shepard is literally the most common like cast sci-fi fantasy video game character everywhere.
In England, James is just a normal name, but up here, Jim is different connotations. It's basically because everybody's a Jim.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jimmy. What time is it? Instead of saying, "Excuse me, somebody I do not know," excuse me, Jimmy.
That was my surprise when I went up to was it Glasgow in 1999. Yep. And someone actually walked up to me, "Hey, Jim, what's the time?" How the crap did you know my name?
But that's what I'm saying. It's a very common name. It's like saying Buddy. It's Jimmy. Yeah. It's one of those things.
Yeah, but it's literally the first time I was there, and the guy walked up, "Hey, Jim," that's what the?
Aye.
I don't know you.
That's it. Basically, it was also part of the fighting reference. See you, Jimmy. Fix this.
Yeah, but I'm still a Viking, even though I'm a cartoonish character. Even the Scottish were walking on across the street to walk on the other side of the pavement.
Yeah.
Do you want to know where I learned "See You, Jimmy" from?
Ross Abbott.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him.
Aye. See you, Jimmy. Aye. Ross Abbott was great. See you, Jimmy.
Yeah, and he created the character Basildon Bond.
Bond. What is he saying? He's saying, fit a bit. Says, what do you mean? He says, well, I can only see his top lip. Yeah, Basildon Bond and he also did Cooperman.
I know.
Wonder Woman with Bella Emberg.
I know. I miss her.
Absolutely fantastic. I grew up watching Russ because my dad was a big fan of Russ Abbott, so I grew up watching it. So Russ Abbott was just superb. Same as Ricky Fulton and Scotch and Rye and stuff like that. I grew up watching all that because that was my dad watched, so I sat and watched it with him. It's fun.
Can I share a clip from their previous sketch show?
I think that Darren is damn it, Jim. And this is the one that I've always got throughout my life. It's like, damn it, Jim, I'm not this. I'm a doctor.
I was watching.
My mum, before you actually had your comment, even my mum just went, damn it, Jim, I'm just your mother.
Right. I was watching Criminal Minds. You know how you've got Derek, the coloured handsome guy, and then you've got Penelope, the wee geek. He asked her to do something, and she says, do you know how in Star Trek, Bones always says, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker. And she says, well, I'm not a doctor. So, hold on a wee sec.
Oh, that sounds like a brilliant one. But, okay, I'll just to fill the airspace a little bit while PJ is hunting for it. It's amazing how much geek culture, us that were stuck in the lockers and everything, had to suffer, and it's like, oh, it's not okay to like this. How much it is literally every day today. I see 13-year-old kids doing memes and just chatting with each other. And they're using stuff that we were being taunted back in the day because, oh, come on, why aren't you more tough, or why aren't you more girly, or whatever it was. And today it's meme culture.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. Even like that was Criminal Minds. I think it was the 3rd or 4th episode. He asked her, and that was just they come back. Do you know how Bones always says to Kirk, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker? And he goes, yeah, you saying you can't do it? She says, no, what I'm saying is I'm not a doctor. Right.
This is from their TV sketch show they did.
Oh, the Panda sketch.
Yeah, here we go. Those were
That's lovely. A bit more to the right. Right. Oh, that's enough. That's it.
Here.
What?
Are you what they call a giant, Panda?
Well, I've never had any complaints, put it that way.
Do you recognise the two speaking?
Here, what exactly are you doing in here anyway?
Oh, they want me to mate.
Oh, yeah. Who with?
You.
Pardon?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
But I'm a bloke, Panda.
So am I, but apparently it's a bit difficult to tell under all this fur.
Well, that's just terrific, isn't it, eh? That's bloody marvellous. So, who's doing what? With who?
Well, the bloke came round this morning.
Yeah?
And he took a sample.
What, of thingy?
Yeah.
How much?
A thermos full.
A thermos full?
Yeah.
How'd you manage that?
Was easy.
Tips on that.
I wished he'd warmed his hand.
Eh? Did he give you a...
Yeah.
He didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Did he? Yeah.
That's a funny old job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder what he puts on his passport.
And a wanker.
Probably, yeah.
Superb, but yes, that was Tony Robinson. And
I'm not sure if it's affecting just me, but stream has been cancelled for policy violations.
Oh dear. Oh, bummer. Need to cancel. So it looks like they didn't like that clip, the panda clip being up.
They didn't.
So
Arseholes.
Oh well. So we get kicked. That's what happens. It's basically that's why I usually check. I didn't even thought of checking because that. So I'll need to actually just be very careful. So what I'm going to do, since that's the second stream it got cancelled, I'm just going to have to actually just blank everybody actually showing videos. Let's see what it says.
This is where I'm probably going to have to start stepping up. I don't know how, because I used an old Gmail account to actually register this Gmail account. So the old Gmail account I had was from like 2007. Somehow that got flagged when I registered this actual account in 2010, well, plus minus one. But I have the taint of that still. I cannot monetize my YouTube channel that I have with YouTube under this account.
Yeah,
it's a ban that has been in place for more